Welcome everyone to Live with Sara and Tasha. Today is Thursday, March 25th, and we are excited today to talk on the topic of gratitude. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Sara Hodson. I am the founder and CEO here at Live Well Exercise Clinic. And oh, Tasha, you're muted. We can't hear you.
Apologies. I'm Tasha McRae. I'm the Director of Brand and Culture here at Live Well. And Sara and I are Live Well Exercise Clinic's original exercise physiologists and health coaches. So this is an awesome opportunity for us to connect with our Live Well membership across the country.
And we are excited to see all of your faces today. Again, if you can see your face on the screen, that means that we can all see you. We are happy to see your face. And so feel free to show your video if you feel comfortable. And we are looking forward to diving into this topic. Now, while we're talking, and we are good at talking, and we're good at talking with each other, but we want to give you the opportunity to ask questions. And so you can type those into the chat function at the bottom of your screen. You'll see a little box that says chat. Feel free to open up that box and you can type your questions in. And towards the end of our session today, we will make sure to get to all of the questions we possibly can. So, are you ready to get started, Tash?
Yes. All right. So today we're talking about the power of gratitude, and attitude is so important, and it can be really easy to focus on what's not going well in your life. It's been a rough year. So it can be really easy for us just to sort of default to focusing on the negative because it really demands our attention. But stumbled there. It also is important that we know that you can cultivate an attitude of positivity. It's not something that we're all born with. Some of us are hardwired to just see things a little sunnier than some other people. So if you're somebody who, that doesn't come naturally to, don't worry. With practice, you can cultivate that attitude of gratitude. And there are so many good reasons to focus on that. And gratitude is a great place to start as far as developing positivity in your life.
And one thing that we know about gratitude is that it does help us to find the joy. And here at Live Well Exercise Clinic, it's one of our core values actually, is find the joy. And that's why we know that this practice of gratitude is so important, really, in our overall well-being. And practicing, finding the joy in our lives right now as they are in this moment. And it's easier said than done. And we absolutely understand that. And, we've often heard the term be present, be in the moment. And we're often kind of thinking about the past and what is the future going to be. And those are all really important things. But when it comes to gratitude, we want to be in the moment rather than kind of looking forward to a future condition to help us find satisfaction or happiness. What is there right now in this moment that I can have gratitude for? And as we start to cultivate that in our life, and we can even express gratitude then towards others, we really start to get the benefit of having richer, deeper relationships. And there's actually a field of research called positive psychology. And in positive psychology, we actually know that gratitude is associated to even reduced depression. It's also been linked to reduced stress, higher self-esteem, and better sleep. And so really we know that people who are able to practice gratitude, people who are able to be more grateful, also take better care of their own health and exercise more. And so, the benefits of practicing gratitude and building that into our life far outweigh just kind of feeling a little bit more positive. It really has a overall well-being impact in our life.
Yeah, absolutely, Sarah. So the question then that, you might be asking yourself is, well, that sounds great. I'd love to, sleep better and have higher self-esteem and all of these things that the research is telling us, but how can I do that? So Sarah and I wanted to share with you sort of 5 practical ways today that you can start to incorporate a gratitude practice into your life. And then we'll lead you through a little gratitude practice right here on the call. So our first idea to help you develop that gratitude habit is really simple. Either every night as part of your nighttime sort of wind down routine. There are some people who choose to do it in the morning rather than the night. There's an author out there that's done the 2-minute morning, and part of the 2-minute morning is doing this gratitude routine. So either in the morning or the night, write down 3 things you're grateful for. If you want to take it a step further, you can include why you've written that particular thing down.
And another thing that we can do is just make a habit of actually kind of writing a thank you note or an email or a text message, reaching out to the people in our lives. We often find joy in being grateful in these moments. And by being grateful for someone else, we can be sure that we're probably infusing some joy into their life. And it makes me think of the Jimmy Fallon segment where he writes his thank you notes, and it's very funny and brings a comedic perspective to this. But really, kind of taking that time and thinking about how we're grateful for other people. Again, this is this aspect that kind of deepens and enriches our relationships with others.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. I remembered I was supposed to write a thank you note to somebody and have forgotten about it. So I've put that on my list now for this week. One thing is if you catch yourself complaining, and again, it's easy to focus on the negative, remembering that it takes 5 positives to get rid of 1 negative. So if you catch yourself complaining, stop and just take a moment and see if you can find something to be grateful for in this particular situation. Yes, there's a lot that going on that you might not appreciate, but is there anything that you can be grateful for at all?
And more so than even writing a note or typing an email or texting someone, getting into the habit of actually telling our loved ones, whether it be our child, our spouse, or a close friend, something that you appreciate them. Actually verbally taking this moment to communicate with them. What are the things that you love about them, that you are grateful for, that you appreciate? Again, this is 2-sided gratitude. You are going to find joy in the moment, and you will infuse joy in that other person's life.
I find you can use gratitude a little manipulatively here, Sarah. I don't know if you've used it before with your children, where I say, wow, I am so grateful that you cleaned the kitchen without me asking. And sometimes it spurs on further behavior with your children. So see if it might even benefit you that way.
You can share gratitude preemptively, hoping that they do the thing that you will one time be grateful for.
Absolutely. Make sure you make a big fuss. And our last tip for incorporating gratitude is don't forget to be grateful towards yourself. So, and though this may feel a little funny at first, when you're looking in the mirror, washing your face, brushing your teeth, combing your hair, or maybe even when you're on the treadmill at the clinic or doing your exercise, can you tell yourself something that you're grateful for about you? And I think a great example here is, I've heard somebody say before, I'm on the treadmill and I'm a little uncomfortable because I'm working hard, but I'm grateful that I'm well enough to show up. I have legs that work so that I can walk on this treadmill meals. Some people don't have that privilege, and really thinking about the things that are working well for you, about your body and about yourself is a good practice to get into.
So maybe we can make this a little bit fun and we can try some things out. What do you think, Tasha? Do you think
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay.
If you go ahead, Sarah.
I want to just give everyone a moment. Maybe you could grab a piece of paper and a pencil or pen. If you need to go away from your computer, if you're watching this after our live episode and you need to just pause the video, feel free to do that. Go away, grab a piece of paper and a pen and a pencil. We will wait for you. And we are just going to kind of take a moment and practice some of these things. And there's no time like now to do that. So we'll give you a moment, grab a piece of paper and a pen, and then we're going to dive into our first question. Are we ready? Awesome. Let's get going. So the first thing that we want to think about today in practicing gratitude is, what do you appreciate most about your body? And I want you to pause, think about it, really try to have a positive perspective for yourself. We're going to allow for maybe 15, 20 seconds of just silence here for us to be introspective and to think about this and write it down for you. So we'll give everyone some time right now to do that. And don't worry, today is not a roundtable discussion where we all need to share what we appreciated most about our bodies. This is more for you to keep with you, to keep at home, and again, for us to practice this.
But if you want to share in the chat, we won't stop you. The second thing we're going to have you think about today is, who in your life are you grateful for? And you can choose to just write down one person, or you can choose to write down multiple people. I did an exercise once where we were asked to write down 10 people we're most grateful for, the most absolutely who've been the most influential that you're so grateful for. And it's funny how you start writing and jockeying people in their positions. And so who is it that you are most grateful for in your life? Sarah, I'm grateful for you.
And Tash, I'm grateful for you too. What would I do without my Tasha? I don't know. And we're seeing people share with us in the chat that they're grateful for their spouse, for their family, for their loved ones. I also surprisingly listed all 4 of my children, who I am very grateful for, as they challenge me on a daily basis and they teach me a lot of lessons about myself.
I love, Sarah, that's a really excellent, not just because it's the right thing to do to say that you're grateful for your children, but that sometimes we do need to be grateful for people who can be a thorn in our side, or what they bring to the table for us, that opportunity to grow, right?
Yeah.
Which kind of works itself into our next gratitude prompt, which is, what life experiences are you grateful for? And again, these, you may be able with that hindsight to look back on experiences that maybe weren't sunshine and roses, but be able to see the value and what they brought to you and how they helped you grow. And therefore, you're able to find some gratitude, even for things that didn't go um, as smoothly as maybe you had hoped. So those life experiences can be positive or negative.
And the last exercise we want to walk you through, or the last question or prompt that we want you to think about, is, what material things are you thankful for? What are some of the physical things in our life that we have that we are grateful for? And I think that as we have really gone through these prompts and really taken a moment, we can see that there is opportunity for us to identify these grateful moments. And, like what you were saying earlier, Tasha, sometimes we are not hardwired that way, and we feel like it's difficult to have that positive perspective. We don't have that genetic predisposition, and we do need to practice it. We do need to cultivate it, and it does take a little bit of work. But the good news is that we can generate gratitude in our life. And by having the right prompts and answering those right questions, we have just proven to ourselves that there are things for us, even in this difficult time, a year into this COVID global pandemic. There are little things that, if we can be absolutely present in this moment, that we can be grateful for.
I love it. We're seeing people being grateful for poems, gardens with flowers, feathered friends. I love, it's true, right? In that moment, sometimes I look outside and the sun is shining right, and there's all these little birds floating through the trees. And even that moment of just taking time to appreciate the beautiful country that we live in, and the beautiful climate that you're living in, and there's just so much to be grateful for if we're looking for it. And that's one of the quotes that we love at Live Well, is there's always, always, always something to be grateful for.
I'm loving in the comments today how we're hearing people who are also grateful for their Live Well team in the clinic, who have been supporting them and been there for them, whether they're live streaming from home or in the clinic, that they still have this connection and are grateful for the staff. So we're
John,
so happy.
John, we have a internal chat board with the staff where the staff can share their wins, and I'm going to make sure that Carly and Monica know that you're grateful for them, because we'll spread that love forward and send that gratitude to them also.
And so we did have a question submitted to us that I think is a little bit of an interesting question, Tasha. And it's kind of, how do I approach gratitude without being fake? how do I approach this without kind of being fake about it if I'm not really sure how to get started?
Yeah, no, that's a really great point. I think we hear this, or gratitude can be difficult for people who are just really going through a rough time in their lives. And it can be, it can feel a little Pollyanna-ish, or like that SNL character who says, I'm good enough, I'm strong enough, and gosh darn, people like me. Right? It's not about being fake, but often when we're struggling, when we're stressed, when we're going through difficult times, we're either ruminating on some past experiences, what somebody said to us, something that didn't go our way. We often are stuck cycling through what happened and what was said in the past, and worried about what's going to happen in the future. What the next time I see that person, how is the situation going to resolve itself? How am I going to? So we're stuck between that past and future. And the beauty of gratitude is it can bring you back into the present moment and really just allow people to focus in and find something in this moment. I am breathing. I have a roof over my head. I have whatever, no matter how simple, kind of like when we're celebrating wins at the clinic, we are looking for the simplest thing. It would be, I showed up today. So what is the simplest thing that you can grab onto, that you can be grateful for, that doesn't feel like you're reaching, that doesn't mean that you're trying to, paint a rainbow over the situation. But it is what is true for you, but that is positive. It might be that I've been through hard times before, and that has given me the strength to get through the hard times now. So I'm thankful that I had that past opportunity so I can become a stronger person. So I think it's really about focusing in on the present and choosing something that feels authentic to you.
And starting knowing that it's okay to just start with one thing, and we don't need a big long list. We don't even need three things. And sometimes we'll surprise ourselves by finding that one thing, identifying that one thing. And again, it might not come to you right away. You may need to pause and in your own silence kind of start to figure out what that is and really mine for it. And sometimes as we find that first thing, it kind of sets us on a mental pathway where we are able to identify a few more things, which opens some doors for us to identify even a few more things. But really, this is about identifying one thing, and be kind to yourself. Give yourself a lot of grace. That this is something that, again, takes practice. So it doesn't mean that you're going to be perfect with it and have great ideas right away and that you're going to feel positive right away. It takes time, and therefore it is something to be practiced. So as we move into our week coming up, a couple of things that we want you to take away from our session today on gratitude. And the first one is find a quiet place where you can take a moment to be intentional about your gratitude for the week.
Of course, make a date with exercise. Make sure you're getting in there and exercising your mind and body. And while you're doing it, be grateful for the body that's allowing you to move.
And make sure that you dig into your Sparks method planner and that you identify those 1, 2, or 3 things that you are going to practice this week that you feel confident that you can achieve, and that you reflected on last week, and what are the tweaks and what are the lessons that you can take away from last week, and really put together a good practice plan for the week coming up.
And before we close, we've had a great comment come in. Somebody's mentioned one thing, or John's mentioned one thing that I do at home is, instead of asking, how was your day today? I ask, what was the best part of your day? And I think that's so true, getting somebody else to think about what they have to be grateful for.
In my household, Tasha, we do something called favorite things at the dinner table. And everyone gets to share one of their favorite things from the day, one of their highlights, one of their favorite moments. And at first, the kids actually struggled to really be able to identify just one thing, but they really had to work at it. Or, I just went to school today and I did my usual things. I don't know what my most favorite thing was, but starting to look at our regular days, our mundane days, our regular ins and outs, and to really, again, pull out, there was something that was a highlight. There was a favorite in there. And so it's been interesting to watch my family kind of grow into that practice. And now it's an exciting thing when we sit down at dinner. Who's doing favorite things? Who's starting with favorite things? And so it's become a fun tradition around the dinner table.
Very cool. Well, thank you everybody for sharing and for joining us today. We are grateful that you tune in with us, and we're grateful that you're part of our Live Well family. And we'll see you next time. We are back on April 1st, so next Thursday, and we are talking about finding time to do things that are important. So time is one of the biggest barriers to healthy living that most people see, both exercise and eating well. And so we're going to talk about not just time management, because time management is one thing, but it's really priority management that we need to look at. So we're going to be talking about finding time to do the things that are important for you.
And if you are watching us on our recorded version on YouTube, we encourage you to subscribe to our channel so that every time that we upload these videos, that you get a notification and you can watch our weekly episodes of Live with Sara and Tasha. Thank you everyone for joining us today, and we hope that you have a great week ahead. Thank you.
Take care.